This particular fork is a titanium fork coming with the titanium model bike. This bike is equipped with the titanium, and also it is an extra charge for the titanium fork. It comes with a matte black aluminum fork, and also the standard model comes with a black fork as well. We're going to install this fork. I'm going to show you a couple of easy steps. There are spacers and also the bearings that are included on the mounting of the fork when it comes out of the packaging. So you want to take off a little plastic dust cap that comes off the top seal, and you're going to take a 5mm Allen wrench. All screws, all bolts on a bicycle are metric. Do not try to use an American set used for cars. Take off your top cap, put that aside. All of these forks and all of the parts on the bike are replaced with stainless steel parts and bolts so that we have a preventive of rust. The stem cap that I showed you before is a stainless steel bolting. On the inside of this you'll see a star nut. Do not remove that star nut. That is your cinching cap when you put this fork in. You do not need to cut this fork. This is pre-cut. When you take off the spacers, just put them aside. We're going to need those later. Also, we use a sealed bearing on all of our applications. You're going to have a crown. So this is the fork and the seating. You're going to place that bearing on top. And now we're going to proceed to install this. There is a wire tie that you need to clip off, and there's no bearing on the bottom, but there is a bearing on the top. So please hold on to the top and pull your zip tie out and throw that away. There's a top cap and a recessed washer. This washer is a very important washer. This will prevent the fork from rocking. Hold that in your hand. Place your fork into the head tube. Make sure that your bearings are seated, and that a very important cinching washer goes into the center of that top bearing. Make sure it's seated properly. Put your top cap on. That has a little rubber seal, and you're going to have to push that on. Once you push that on, you can let go. You don't need to hold on to that. Slide that over the top tube. And now you're ready for your stem.
Okay.
Take your stem, place that on top. Do not tighten any bolts at this time. Take your top cap. You're going to put your top cap on. I'm going to line up that Tommy C emblem. That looks cool when you're riding. And cinch that up. Now on a seal bearing you don't have to worry about over tightening. You're never going to be able to over tighten. So just snug it up. Do not over tighten. And make sure it runs nice and even and smooth. Do not tighten these side bolts. But very important that you don't forget once you put on the front wheel. We're going to do our front wheel mount now. We're going to take our rotor side, which is always on the non-drive side or the left side of the bike. Left side of the bike is when you're sitting on the bike. Right side of the bike is always your drive side. I'm going to take that wheel, I'm going to put that up into the mounting.
Explain to me about the forks, how they got the...
The forks have a little tab on the inside. We call them lawyer's clips. These things prevent the wheel from coming out if that bolt were to loosen. It's a safety for your riding pleasure, and allows us to seat the bolts safely and snugly. Just tighten those things up. That's a 15mm wrench. You can either use an open socket or a closed box wrench.